So this is Jenny on the right and this is Linda on the left, and they're doing a walk around the Norfolk coast. And so what's your plans today?
Well, we've walked from Wells at the moment,
Yes.
and we're walking to Cly today, and we're just looking for a nice pub to have a shandy in at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think I've just mentioned there's one about 300 yards on my shoulder, so
That's
we should
right.
be okay there.
Yeah.
So is this kind of coastal path walking, have you been doing this kind of thing for long?
Only about 2 hours.
I was thinking more like years, actually. You're experienced walkers, obviously.
We walk a fair bit.
We walk a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we do. We've done from Sunny Honey
Yes.
to Wells
Right.
a few weekends ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now we're heading towards Blakeney and then Cly.
Yes.
And then tomorrow we're doing Cly to Cromer.
Right.
And-
So this is obviously one of your favourite coasts then?
Oh,
It's
it's lovely.
fabulous,
It's
yeah.
just lovely. I can't think why everybody says it's boring in Norfolk, because I think it's just beautiful here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
really lovely.
Well, I think every county's got its own
It has,
particular
definitely.
sort of thing, hasn't
And
And
it?
the birds and everything. The last time we came was when we heard all the cuckoos, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes.
And we were lucky enough to see a cameraman, a photographer, who was very keen, and he showed us a really good close-up of a cuckoo, which I've never actually seen before.
Wow.
So that was really nice.
Yeah.
That was a good experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But we hope to do the coast-to-coast one.
We're hoping to
later,
do the
start
coast to
later this
coast.
year.
We're going
Right.
to start it
From
in
the west
hopefully
side.
September, October.
Yes.
But it might take us 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that's the one that runs to. Let me just think, Robin Hood's Bay, and
Yes.
it
Yeah,
starts
that's
in
right.
Westmoreland. Well,
Yes,
Cumberland.
yes,
yeah.
it does. St Bees,
Left
is
to
it?
right,
Bees,
St.
St
Bees.
Bees, I
St.
think.
Bees, that's
Yes,
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I walked past St Bees in the early days of
You've
this
done
walk.
that already.
How long have you
yeah.
been walking then?
15 months now.
Have you really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And I've got my camper van with me, so what I do is I drive from A to B with a van, leave
Right.
the van, then
Right.
get
That's
a bus
fantastic.
back to A and then walk, and
Yeah.
it's by far the cheapest and easiest way of doing
Yeah,
it.
fabulous.
And
Yeah.
I've got right around the coast by doing
That
that.
is a
yeah.
fabulous
Yeah.
thing
And,
to do.
and I walked right through the winter as well, through Cornwall, which was the perfect time to do it because you'd never do it during the summer.
No,
It's too
no.
crowded. Are you doing it for a charity?
Yes, I'm doing it for Brain Cancer Research Fund. My
okay.
wife got a tumour.
Yeah.
She's had it removed successfully.
Oh,
and
that's
that-
good.
fantastic.
That wasn't, it was
Brilliant.
only 2-3 months ago,
Yeah.
and she's recovering very nicely, slowly but nicely. You know, she's
Yeah.
That's good.
she's fine, and so
Oh, well,
I think
all
those
the best to
surgeons
you
and,
then.
and the fund
Yeah.
deserve some money. So
Yeah, they do.
I've given you those cards, and if,
You
if you
have.
do want to donate, there's details on there.
Yeah, we do that.
But it's been very nice meeting you, ladies.
Thank
I
you
can
very
see that
much.
you're
Nice to
gagging
meet
for
you.
it.
We are.
for-
We're raring to
Ready
go
for
to
our
the pub now, you see.
shandy,
Yeah, off you go then. That's
And all
right.
the
All right.
best.
Lovely to meet
Nice
you.
to
All the
meet
best
you.
to both
Bye.
of you.
Well, I'm around about 3 or 4 miles from Wells now, and I've been walking along here, and bumped into Caroline, who was walking in the opposite direction, and she was going along at a real pace. You was almost jogging there, Caroline. Do you always walk this quickly?
It's because it's flat, and I'm used to big hills because I'm from Holmfirth in West Yorkshire.
Yes.
And usually all my walks are up very big hills.
Yes.
So I think that's the reason I need to slow down because I'm in Norfolk.
Well, yes. I mean, I wondered about this. But I mean, I've just walked right around England and Wales on the coastline, and I mean, some of those really exhausting stretches. I was rather looking forward to getting to this because coming to the end of the walk where it's flatter, you know, rather than doing it the other way around. On saying that, I'm going to Scotland at the end of July, and that'll start that ball rolling
Sure.
again. But this is, for it being flat, people say, oh, it's flat and boring, it's a bit mundane, but I think it's quite nice actually.
It's really nice, I think, because you've got all the marshland and the wildlife, but you've also got such lovely villages along the way.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think it's beautiful.
They take care of them really well, don't they? You know, I like these pebbles and stones and stuff.
I do. The flint villages, it's just beautiful.
They look great,
cobbles.
you know, and I imagine all those years ago, I mean, most of these houses must be about, a lot of them 100 years or more, but even the new houses now they're building with the same, or well in keeping. It's not like it's not like a modern estate, is it? It's like something well preserved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do take notice of those things. But well, look, I'll let you get on. I mean, now you're facing the wind, and I've got it behind me, but it started off as an awful morning.
It did.
And you know, it's forecast a really nice day for tomorrow and Sunday.
Yeah, well, I'm going to brave my shorts tomorrow. I didn't dare this morning, so that my bag will be waiting for me in my tent because I'm glamping.
Oh,
so
really?
my bag and my tent's getting moved along for me each day, which is fabulous.
Right.
So I'll brave the shorts tomorrow because I think we're in for a scorcher.
Absolutely.
So I'll be reaching sort of more towards Sheringham and Cromer by then, so and you'll be further on past Wells and I guess towards Hunstanton after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping to reach Hunstanton by tomorrow afternoon.
Right, fabulous.
And then King's Lynn the day after.
Wow.
And I've got some friends who said they're going to accommodate me for the weekend, which is just a little bit further south of that Downham Market.
Oh yeah.
And they sound like very nice. I've not met them. I've met loads of people by them writing to me
amazing.
and saying come and stay with us. And people have come to walk with me and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's been lovely.
That's fantastic.
And you know, it's a really nice site full of lovely people, and it's great to, at the end of a day's walk, to go in and sit down and just watch all the messages, and you get some fantastic messages.
I bet. Well, I'll definitely have a look and wish you all the best.
Well, you'll be welcome to join me.
So,
it's been very nice to meet you, Carla.
Thank you. Yeah, take care.
So, may I ask, are you walking on your own? You're doing this on your own?
I am. Yeah.
Wow, that's a pity you wasn't going that way.
So, I know, absolutely. So, another story. You know, I'm single because, as well as the story that I've told you about my son, I left his dad because he's an alcoholic. So that's the reason that. That's another story, another day, Jim.
Oh, I know. Well, keep in touch, Caroline. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, and you take care.
Bye now. Bye. It's just after 3 o'clock now, and I've just seen a sign saying 3 miles to Wells, which should take me about an hour. It's very easy walking. It's lovely and dry. The sun is beating down. The only problem is the wind is strengthening. This is the first opportunity I've had to actually get into an area where it's still enough to be able to talk to you, and I've missed the opportunity since I set off, where there's been like a procession, and I don't know why, of really nice, fit looking women walking along in pairs and singly and everything, and spaced out about every half mile, and I've sort of missed the opportunity to talk to them because it would be like yesterday, if you remember, where I had an interview with someone, and you get the wind noise because the wind's swirling around and it rather spoils the interview. Well, the wind is much stronger than that today, and it's virtually impossible to find a place that's not affected, and it's swirling around as well, so it makes it more difficult. But no, I'm doing fine. There we are, look, a sudden gust of wind out of nowhere where you think it's still. I'm doing fine, I'm walking well, I'm on target. I'm going to get to Wells and have a look at the time and have a look to see how much further I can walk. I know that the sprinter buses finish at Wells, I was reliably informed today. So I might go and get the van and get back to Wells and then carry on. Because the buses there will sort of run further, and I'm determined that I want to get tomorrow to Hunstanton, where I might be meeting someone. We've had some almost cryptic conversations about whether we're meeting up or not, but I know that pints of Stella are going to be involved, so that sounds promising. And if I can't make it for Saturday, I'll definitely get there for Sunday. And I need to send a message to my friend Sean, who lives just south of King's Lynn, to tell her that I passed a sign not that long ago saying it's only 30 miles. Well, that would have been maybe 5 miles ago. So I'm going to be arriving at her place. I think it's Market Downham, I think it is, which is about 10 miles south of King's Lynn. So I need to let her know that my arrival is imminent. And it's been a great day. It's been lovely. I've had loads of new messages again. It was great last night to speak to many new people. I'm still trying to catch up with you all on Facebook and YouTube, but as I said yesterday, just have faith. I will catch up with you. I will be speaking, well, I'll be writing to you certainly, and get this backlog down as soon as I possibly can. And it's great. So, here we go. Good morning. I can't talk too loud because it's only 6:30 in the morning and I'm walking down the street towards the beach, if that's the right word to use, and I'm here in Wells. That's Wells in Norfolk, and you can hear what's going on here. You can hear the blackbirds and the seagulls and all that kind of stuff, and it really is an absolutely gorgeous morning, and it's forecast to go up to 30 degrees by the end of the day, which is why I've set off so early this morning, apart from the fact that I've got quite a long way to walk today to make it to Hunstanton. So it's quite obvious why I'm setting off at this time in the morning. I would have set off earlier, but I had to make myself a breakfast. There's nowhere to get a breakfast at this time in the morning. and there was quite a bit of mail and stuff. I just flicked through it. Yesterday I walked here and struggled, if I'm to be honest. Not that I was tired or anything like that. It was just the weather, really. It was bizarre. It was hot and sunny, but there was a stiff, cold breeze. And the reason I'm wearing a hat this morning is that I did get quite sunburnt yesterday, and I don't want to be doing that again. And I'm probably going to be wearing a hat all day, even though it's going to be warm, because I've put cream on and all that kind of stuff. But the wind's behind me, and the sun's behind me. So the problem of walking this part of the coast is it's like walking across a desert. There's no trees. Well, there are some, but there's not many. You're out in the... It's like walking, you're just out in the middle of nowhere. Even though you can see the sea a long way out, and you can see what was the original coastline, but the sort of beach or it's just like wetlands. It's a bit like what I'm used to seeing like on the River Humber, which is where I'm from, where there's been such massive changes over the last sort of 1,000 years, and this is the same. This place that we're in now, Wells, used to be a very important place, a big port, but now there's miles and miles and miles of sort of salt marsh and everything between here and the actual sea. So today, my plan is to get to Hunstanton. I've just been down to the port there and had a look around, showed you one or two shots, and I saw one of the coastal path signs saying Hunstanton, 23 miles. Well, it would be very nice to be able to do that, and I hope I can. And that's my intention. That's why I've got up so early. I'm just taking it nice and steady. I'm not in a rush. There's nobody clocking me in or clocking me out or anything like that. I might have to split the walk into like 2 12s depending on where I get to and what the conditions are like. But if it's going to be still and calm like this all day and just sort of gradually getting warmer, then it's going to be a bit of a tough day. And this is probably the first day of this year that when you think about where I was walking last year, which I think was around about sort of Blackpool area somewhere, it was red hot then as well, and I had weeks and weeks. I had 7 weeks of walking from Carlisle to Anglesey, and it didn't rain. I didn't see any rain whatsoever. And it was like that almost every day. I'm sure a lot of you remember 2018 as being like really spectacular. So I might get to Hunstanton absolutely exhausted, having walked 23 miles, or I might have to call it a day early. I don't know, I've got no idea. I mean, yesterday I went out with good intention, and I was absolutely knackered by the time I'd done like about 9 miles, and so I called it a day early because the weather was good, but as I say, but it was just windy. It just all of the time it was non-stop wind, And as a consequence of that, I didn't get many interviews because there was just absolutely nowhere to shelter. You could only talk to people on camera in certain places, and so people turning up at the right time was a bit of potluck. So I didn't get much yesterday, even though I was talking to lots of really nice, I've got to say, ladies, fabulous women I was talking to, and I would love to have had them on the video because they're all absolutely lovely personalities and dead fit looking ladies who, avid walkers. And I met another girl, Fiona, who was rough camping in a van, and I probably spent half an hour just chatting with her, and she was delightful. She just escaped Norwich to come and sit on the seafront in a camper van with a little dog, which was wonderful. And it was great, and I wish I could have got them on camera. And to be honest with you, I got back to the camper van last night and brought it down here to Wells, and I was in bed by 8 o'clock, and I slept until 4:30 this morning, so I've had a really good night's sleep. And I think that's one of my problems. I've been going at it a bit much with the editing. I've had to fight hard to keep up with all of this, and it's kind of worn me out really, and I've got a tiredness in me which I can feel that I haven't experienced for a long time, where I just want to get this over now, this leg. I just want to get back to Grimsby for lots of reasons, but I've got to do the miles. And so I'm holding myself together quite well. I'm good humoured, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, don't misunderstand me. It's just, I'm just tired. I've just done 3,000, just crossed the 3,500 mile barrier a couple of days ago, and I've still got a long way to go to get to Grimsby. And I've got to have a break, and loads of things to do, loads of people to see. Spend some time with Trish, see how she is, and that's not going to be easy either. And just get back on with it, go to Scotland and just do a lot more thinking and a lot more walking and a lot more adventure and a lot more people and stuff. I've just been in a bit of a lull this week with all the excitement of last weekend and all that, and the massive influx of new friends and new people to speak to, and it's just keeping a lid on it really, and keeping myself under control. And sometimes keeping myself under control is probably one of the most difficult tasks that I have in life. It's true. I guess that you can only see a silhouette of me with the sun being immediately behind me, and I'm sorry about that, nothing I can do about it. But let's have a look at the time now. Well, it's 7:48, so I've been going since, what, just after 6, 6:15, something like that. So I'm doing all right. I mean, it's absolutely glorious out here. It's unbelievable. It's just so quiet. You can just listen to that. Almost the silence. You can hear a car coming from about half a mile away, so I've got plenty of warning to get out of the way. There's not that many vehicles, but because it's a quiet road, they really come at you, like this one as an example. And but it's not dangerous. It's nowhere near as bad as Essex, and you was waiting for me to say that, wasn't you? Definitely. If I look over to my right, over this hedgerow, which I get a glimpse every now and again, you can actually see the sand dunes and all the rest of it. You can see the coast, which is starting to sort of narrow down now. It's coming to the point where I've been walking west now for the last, what, maybe 30, 40 miles, something like that. And then I turn to my left, which is heading south, which will take me into Hunstanton, and then I need to go now down about maybe another 10, 15 miles to King's Lynn before I then turn west again, which will be across the bottom of the wash. It's quite easy to figure out why I felt so tired. In that it's been non-stop from 4 o'clock in the morning till sort of 10 o'clock on a night, sort of doing, the paperwork, keeping in touch with people, doing the walk, doing the edit. It's just got too much just for a while, and I need to learn to readjust and manage my time a little bit better. But what else can I do? I mean, I did think about renting a caravan and getting a secretary and sticking her in the back of the van and just letting her do all my admin for me and my washing and my food and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if there's any volunteers for Scotland, come on, ladies, give us a ring. And it's it's just a thought, just a joke. But no, it's just getting a bit much. And as I say, I'm tired. I've done 3,500 miles. I'm not far from Grimsby, and not far away, but it seems like a long way at the moment. It's still sort of about 18 days before I get to Grimsby or thereabouts, which doesn't sound long, but I suppose it's like anything really. When you've done something as big as this, it's going to have its moments where you think, God, that's a long way. When you've just walked all those miles, and then the last sort of 120 or something becomes really hard work. But I'm sure you understand what I'm waffling on about. But this is gorgeous this morning. This is really, really lovely. And I'm just taking it very, very steady. I'm seriously pacing myself this morning. I'm not going to run out of energy today like I did yesterday. I'm just going to take it easy. Now it's, by the time I get into the next village, which I think is Burnham, I'm going to be maybe early enough to get some breakfast somewhere, or certainly a cup of tea. And I keep seeing mileposts for King's Lynn, which must have been some kind of place back in medieval days, and more or less ruling all this part of the world. This massive, beautiful county. And here's another one. It's 8:45 now, and I've been walking more or less 2 hours non-stop, and I've stopped here at the Hero, very nice pub in a curious sounding place called Burnham Overy Staves, and it's been a lovely walk up to now, absolutely dead still. There's just the slightest little breeze that's come up now, which is just adding a little bit of coolness to the situation, because it was getting quite warm, but it's going to get an awful lot warmer than this. I would say it's probably into the 20s already, and it's not even 9 o'clock yet. I've still got a long way to go. I've done about 5.5 miles now, 6 miles, something like that, so that's not bad really. I'm just taking it easy. I'm not walking at my normal fast pace. I'm just taking it dead steady. The intention being, if I've got something like 15 miles to walk, and I do it that's going to take me about 6 hours, I reckon, and that'll be enough, and then I can get the bus back to Wells and go and get parked up somewhere in Hunstanton. Quite what I'm going to do, I'm not sure. I was going to be hoping to have a message or make a meeting with one of my YouTube friends called CG, and I've not heard from him. I say I haven't heard from him. I haven't heard anything new from him, so I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And being a Saturday night, I might go out for a pint. I really need somebody to sit and just have a good talk with. I haven't actually talked to anybody face to face in like a social situation other than on these films for about a week now, and I'm not feeling lonely because I'm so busy doing other things. I've got lots on my mind, but it's good. It's good to have a really nice day, because we've as I said, the last week really the weather's been very changeable. We've had some really nice weather, and we've had some quite cold and wet weather, and for this time of year it's quite unusual really that it's not this good. As I say, it's nothing compared to last year where it was absolutely brilliant. But there's a few people moving around now. The cleaner at the pub here very kindly topped up my water bottle for me, which I'm going to need topping up several times today, I reckon. But I'm loving this. It's really good. It's really good, and I feel as if I'm making progress again. I kind of got over that little bit of frustration with myself where I was just tired really, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing fine. it's 11:30 now, and here I am at Burnham, Deepdale. I've done quite well. It's turning warmer by the minute, and there's a bit of a breeze coming up, which is quite a relief. I'm wearing my hat because I don't want to get my head burnt anymore. And I've just checked my route planner, and I calculate I've got somewhere around about 2.5 hours to get from here now to Hunstanton, which is quite nice. It could take quite a lot longer. Actually, I stopped for probably about half an hour talking to a lovely young lady who was with a sister staying in an apartment, well, a very nice house, should I say. I just happened to be walking past and she offered me a cup of tea. Very, very lovely girl. I can't remember her name, to be honest with you. It was a very unusual name. But she too was a filmmaker, and I said, well, how about me interviewing you? And she says, no, I can't do that. She says, I'm far too shy. And she was absolutely fabulous, lovely girl. And then maybe a couple of miles ago I stopped for a break because there's no seats and things around here, and this is on the road, and there's just a little sort of clearing just off the road, and I was talking to a very nice cyclist, a guy called Andy, who lived in this area, and he's just got a newborn baby, and he was out for a ride, you know, just for a Saturday morning ride, and he'd be going back. And what a fabulous guy he was, but never got a chance to video him either. He didn't like being videoed, so that's the way it goes sometimes. You win a few and you lose a few. But it's going very well. I'm very pleased, very happy. Found this place. Can't believe it, out in the middle of sticks like this, and the tea was good, and I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling very happy, and I'm walking well. And I'll be glad to get this part over with, turn that corner, heading south towards Kings Lane, and I've already spoken with one or two people on the phone to try and sort out some arrangements for the future, and looking forward to it. So I'll move on. Well, this is Ant,
Hello.
and this is
Simon.
Simon. Sorry, I've got a very short. Let me start again. Well, this is Ant, and this is Simon. And
Hello.
I'll start with you first, Simon. You're all kitted out, and you've got your sticks and all that kind of stuff. Are you in for a big walk today?
We are heading round from Hunstanton,
Yes.
all the way round to Stiffkey today,
Yes.
and then from Stiffkey onwards to Cromer tomorrow.
Oh, that's fabulous.
So over the weekend, Hunstanton to Cromer.
So you're putting some big days in then?
Yep, starting nice and early.
Yep.
This is now our lunchtime, it's coming
Yep.
up to midday now.
Yeah,
so we're stopping for, we've just stopped for a bit of lunch at Deepdale,
Yes.
and now we'll be heading round to, round towards Stiffkey
Right.
this evening.
Oh, well, that's great. That's
Yeah.
lovely. I mean, Sheringham and Cromer, I mean, are the sort of jewels of the crown, really.
Beautiful.
I found Wells like most unusual, where it's like a town. But
It's an old fishing town that's caught into the
sea's
tourist
gone.
trade.
You know, it's
so
all
quite
of
a way
this.
out.
It's completely and utterly changed the whole complexion of the.
It's all salt marsh here, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
And then, we'll be heading and making the most of the dunes at Holcombe,
Yes.
and Holcombe's beautiful beach and woodland there.
Yes.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic
And
place.
hopefully
isn't it?
get some shade as well.
Yes.
Hopefully get some shade.
Well, I think I've got to say that this is without a doubt the best day we've had. I mean, it reminds me of last summer when I was walking along the Lancashire coast, where it was like these temperatures at this time.
Yeah.
In those boiling heat.
Yeah. I mean, it was, as you remember, last summer was just unbelievable, and I couldn't have picked a better time to do it. I went
Yeah.
from Carlisle to Anglesey and around Anglesey in 7 weeks, and I never saw a drop of rain.
Really?
And every day it was over 20.
It was unbroken sun.
Yeah.
This area, this time last year, was all brown everywhere.
Yes.
Straw coloured.
Yes.
And of course, then all the fire bands came in, and,
Yes.
and it was so
Yeah.
just
So-
Good amount of
unbelievable,
rainfall.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
So where are you lads from then?
Well, I'm from Hunstanton,
Yes.
so I'm local,
I'm
and
from
you're
Heacham.
from just the next village.
Next village. in
Oh well, that's excellent. Well, have a great day, lads.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure meeting you,
And likewise.
It's nice to see some younger guys out here and looking all fit.
You've got to make the most of it.
Of course you
Gorgeous day like this, gorgeous area.
Absolutely.
You're a fool not to, really. I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So where are you now headed then?
I'm heading for Hunstanton now. I've just looked. I reckon it's going to take me about another 2.5 hours. I started at Wells this morning at about 7 o'clock, something like that.
Try and beat the heat.
Yeah. Exactly. But I've talked to quite a number of people on the way, and so you know, I probably average doing about 2 miles an hour with the talking and the videoing and
stopping to make videos.
And all the rest of it. But it's well worthwhile. It's a wonderful kind of log, you know, for the rest of my life, and
that's how I see it as well. Something for my children to see, something for it's something for them to aspire to, and hopefully they'll catch the bug at some point as well. Hopefully they wanted to come on this walk, and I'm like, no, not at the moment.
That's right.
Well, they've got to get their own hammocks first.
Absolutely.
So we're hammock campers.
Right.
So we'll be utilising some trees and woodland to stay the night.
Find a beautiful spot.
And could I ask you if you could just move back slightly again, because you've gone into the wind. But no, sorry, it's interesting what you were saying there, where I started making this initially for my grandkids. You know, my grandson's really interested in this walk that I'm doing and stuff, and he wants to. He said to me once, he says, "I'm going to do this walk one day." He says, "And you know, I've got it. I can watch on video." He says, "But I'm not going to call it the Coastal Path Walk." He says, "I'm going to call it Grandad's Way."
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Which was lovely.
Yeah.
You know, and he's doing a lot of walking and running. He's a bit of a keep fit lad, and he's only nearly 11. But he's a good walker already.
Fantastic. You know. That's it. Get it in him young.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much, lads. Lovely
You
to
have
meet
a good day.
Yeah,
good luck with the rest of your journey.
Cheers.
And
have a good one, mate.
You take care.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for chatting.
I haven't moved far. This is like a procession of people walking past wanting to be interviewed. That's wonderful. And this gentleman's name is...
Hi there, I'm Mark.
Mark.
Hi, I'm Jackie.
And Jackie.
Yeah.
And I see you've got your binoculars on there, Mark. I mean, are you a serious ornithologist?
Bit of casual bird watching when we're out walking. Do a lot of walking. We're up in Norfolk just for the weekend, staying at a lovely little cottage inland.
Yes.
Thought we'd come down here just for the afternoon with some mates.
Yes.
Strolling along, take my binoculars out just to see what there is around.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better day, could you?
Marsh harrier up the far end.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And have you seen any special birds that...
Just the marsh harrier today so far.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you. I like my garden birds. That's about as far as it goes. You know, great tits and blue tits and what do they call them? The goldfinches I particularly like. You know, but you know, on the little feeders that you get from Wilco's and all that stuff.
Got a garden full of that stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a little telescope and just my binoculars. It's just an extension of going out walking to me when I'm out in the fresh air. And what a lovely day to be out.
Well, I mean, my hobby is like making videos, and I used to put cameras in different positions and stuff like that, and you could get some really good close-ups of them on the feeding. You could see the real sharp detail and everything, and you disguise the cameras, and so you know, and it was lovely. Got some great stuff, you know. So where are you heading to now then? Is
just back to Brancaster.
Yes.
We're going to meet our mates who are about 5 minutes ahead of us now.
Yeah.
Have a drink, then go back to our cottage and spend the afternoon.
Very nice.
Chilling out.
Excellent. That's lovely.
Yep.
Where are you from? Are you
Bedfordshire.
Bedfordshire. Well,
so it's about 2 hour drive to get up here. 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Just a weekend off. Me and my mates, we usually go off this time of year to the hills of somewhere, but we thought we'd have a lowland glockle, as we call it.
Well, you're lovely people, and I wish I could come and join you. I'm
you're off to Hunstanton, yeah.
Yes, and then
enjoy your walk around the rest of the country.
Yeah.
thank you very
Keep
much.
cool.
Keep cool, yeah.
Today.
And keep in touch. You've got a card.
Yeah, we'll have. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Bye bye now. Bye bye.
Take it easy.
So it's just after 2 o'clock now, and I'm at the Titchwell Manor Hotel, which is a very nice looking place, and I've just been speaking with the manager, and lovely man, Andy, and he's made me a lovely cup of tea, nice big one, and he's also given me some iced water, and he's a walker himself, and I'm hoping that I can persuade him to just have a little bit of a chat in a minute, because he's a very, very nice man. So the temperature now must be somewhere between 25 and 30. I'm not saying I'm struggling, but I've slowed down quite a lot. You can't walk at pace in this weather. I've got my white hat out just to put on my head, just to protect my head. The wind's got up a little bit, which is taking the extreme heat off. But this is by far the hottest day of the year. It's only just like it was last year at this time, where it was like this every day for weeks, but nevertheless we're not used to it anymore, and out here where the wind is coming down from the north, it is cooling it down quite nicely. Here I am now at the Titchwell Manor, and I've just had a wonderful cup of tea served by Andy, who's the general manager. This is quite a fantastic place, Andy. You must have quite a history, I guess.
Yes, well, the current owners have had it for 30 years, so
Yes.
And the chap who actually runs it now he arrived here as a child, and one of the bedrooms was his bedroom, so he's now developed it into what it is now, which is a 26 bedroom luxury hotel.
Wow.
It's right on the coast with the coastal views.
Yes.
And it's just lovely meeting amazing people like yourself, Jim. And it's what makes life so great, being in the catering trade.
Yes, you obviously enjoy it. I mean, have you always been in this line of business then?
Yes, I mean, I started off chefing, but eventually went into management.
Yes, yes.
The nice thing about being out front is you do get to meet the characters. To stuck in the kitchen with a bunch of chefs. But
Well, they're characters in themselves anyway. You know, it's another world being a chef, I suppose.
Yeah.
You were telling, I know we just had a brief chat earlier on, and you're a bit of a walker yourself then, Andy.
Yes, if it's not walking or running, especially along this coast, the Norfolk coastal path is just amazing.
Yes.
I've only ever done sort of from Hunstanton through to Blakeney, but
yes,
lots of parts of it many a time.
Yes.
And like every path, there's beautiful parts of it, and there's always something that somebody doesn't like about something. And I have a mile of it that I don't like, but I keep that to myself.
Well, absolutely. I mean, to me, the way I've figured it out in my mind, having walked nearly the full length of this now, all the way from the other end. What's the name of the place at the other end?
Lowestoft?
No, on the corner. This is where my memory goes.
Cromer?
Yes, Cromer, which is a completely different ball game, because it's actually right on the coast, and it's a kind of a Victorian resort in the same way to a certain degree as is Sheringham, and they've got all the protections and sea defences.
Yes.
But this, you can see. I wonder what it was like 1,000 years ago. You know, when like Edward VIII Edward the First, I beg your pardon, was like remodelling my part of the world, which was Hull, where there was a port on the sea very near Spurn Point, which is now about 3 miles out to sea. There's been that much land erosion, and so I guess that all of this extra sort of salt marsh has been washed down the North Sea and has landed here because that's the way this is built up. And so I guess the original A149, as it was, I mean, I know there wasn't, it's not like it is now, but this would have been like the natural boundary, and of course this beach has just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and the shingle and what have you.
Yes.
And I think, like you mentioned that there are some boring parts. I think, you know, for the purpose of this film, I've done bits and pieces at different parts, because I don't think anybody would get turned on by watching me walking 15 miles along a shingle beach, as an example.
Yeah.
And you want to see the lovely buildings and the trees and places like this, and get to know the people. And there's a lot more to it than that, and I do that everywhere really. A lot of people just get stuck onto walking the coastal path and the coastal path only. I mean, there's a wonderful bus service here that's more or less laid on specifically for walkers. I know it's the other side of Wells, but nevertheless I've seen lots of walkers around at this time of year, which is good.
Yes, it is. I mean, it's stunning. Rain or sunshine, it's people just, you know, they just adapt to weather conditions and out they go.
Yes.
But like I said, it's just such a beautiful coastline.
Yes.
I mean, I grew up in Sydney in Australia, and I came over here, and I think I arrived on the North Norfolk coast in 91.
Yes.
I went back in 93, but I was back again in 94.
Yes.
Because I fell in love with this coastline.
Yes.
And you know, if the beaches up here had waves, I would be in heaven. But
definitely.
but yeah, it is stunning.
But strangely enough, I was walking with a couple who were surfers when I was walking up into Lowestoft, and they were telling me that the beach which is there now wasn't there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they used to surf there, and now there's this big shingle beach just like this.
Yep.
And you know, and it's a natural habitat for many insects and birds, and it's a, you know, it's probably about half a mile wide and about maybe 10-15 miles long, and it's actually moving northwards towards Lowestoft as time goes by.
Yeah.
And when you think about the whole world is changing, it's not a static situation. But you know, people don't realise that this is the only north-facing kind of seaside resort in Britain.
Yeah.
And you know, people might get put off with that, but you know, it's a very. I find all of these places have their own personality. Each county is different, and I think I don't pass judgment on any of them. I think it's all very interesting. And plus the fact that I think that 99% of the population of this country have never seen a coastal path.
Yeah, which is a shame. But I think more and more, because Norfolk is pretty much on the radar of most people now as a go-to destination for its beaches.
Yes.
And a lot of the beaches have been in sort of blockbuster movies and whatnot, because they are long and sandy.
Yes, yes.
And we have got a sort of a miniature microclimate here as well.
Yes.
I mean, apart from today, we've probably seen the worst of it, because the rest of the country is predominantly been baking in sunshine, but we're under cloud. But then, you know, now it's like this, and we'll probably get this for the next six to 8 weeks.
Yes, well, hopefully.
Hopefully, yes.
I mean, I'm from Hull, which is on the east coast, so I'm used to east coast weather, and you know, that's quite changeable. But you know, I do like the east coast, but there is a distinct difference. There's absolutely no doubt between the east coast of Britain and the west coast of Britain. It's like, you know, it's so different. You know, obviously one on the Atlantic and the other on the North Sea, so you expect it to be completely different, you know.
Yeah, but I like that, because I mean, I spend quite a bit of time on the west coast.
Yes.
You know, St David's in Pembrokeshire is one of my favourite places.
Oh yeah, that's fabulous.
And I think it's because it's more rocky and rugged coastlines.
Yeah, that's right.
It's where we are here, it's just tends to be the shingle or sandy beaches.
Yes.
You know, sort of northwest coast of Scotland is absolutely amazing.
Yes.
You know, I know a lot of the east coast of Scotland, but I try to get to the west coast because it is that much more
stunning. Is the word. I think you're right. I think the east coast tends to be perhaps a little bit industrial as well. You know what I mean? But the place you mentioned, the Pembrokeshire coastal path, is absolutely breathtaking. All of it, isn't it? And the Welsh people are dead friendly people. There's lots to do around there, and it's interesting. It's steeped in like medieval history. You know? And you know, it's incredible. But it's been a real pleasure to meet you, and thank you very much indeed for the tea. That was a very nice gesture, and my water, for my ice cold water. Now I've just got to. I mean, now what would you say? It's about 30 degrees, would you say?
Oh, 29, 30, yeah.
29, 30, yeah. But I've still got about 2 hours to go yet, so that'll help me on the way.
Brilliant.
It's been a pleasure to meet you. You're a lovely guy. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
thanks for your hospitality.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, it's just after 3:30 and I'm still on the A149 as you can hear, and this is Jake and
Ollie.
And Jake prefers to do all the talking because Ollie's a bit shy, and a lot of people, don't worry about that, Ollie, a lot of people are like that, so don't worry. So where are you two guys off to then, Jake? What's the plan?
Well, we're going to head to Wells today to camp tonight, and then we'll finish up in Sheringham, Cromer in a couple of days' time. So just a weekend trip.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, so you're going to be doing the miles then, aren't you? You know, it's how many miles would that be? About 50?
It's a bit less, about 40, 40 over the 3 days. So it's, a bit of a walk.
Well, you couldn't have picked better weather. I mean, if not a bit too warm, really.
Yeah.
But yesterday was different. Was you walking yesterday?
No, today's the first day, so we've been lucky, but we've had to lather the sun cream on. Yes,
I would say so. I mean, yesterday it was the wind immediately behind me, but it was really strong. You couldn't really talk to anybody. And what I've done to make it interesting for the viewers is, rather than just walk along the shingle beaches and all, you know, through all that, I've varied it where I've come on and then off and then on again and everything, because it can be a bit mundane and boring, can't it? You know, so a bit of variety just makes it so much better.
Yeah.
So where are you lads from?
I'm from South London, so sort of Clapham area.
Yes.
And Ollie's from Oxford.
Yeah. Right, from where, sorry?
Sorry?
Where are you from?
Oxford.
Oxford?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a long way from. No, I've never come across anybody from Oxford. I mean, you know that you must have some nice walking around that area, but
it's a pretty part of the world.
It is a very nice. I mean, Oxford City is a wonderful place, isn't it? You know,
its spires.
It's got what?
Spires.
Spires, yeah.
Spires.
Well, whatever turns you on, isn't it? Really, but you know, I mean, it's a big attraction, Oxford, isn't it? You know, you get a lot of the foreign visitors. Well, look, it's been very, very, very nice to meet you guys, and I wish you every success. And you've got a card. Keep in touch.
Will do.
And you'll see yourself on YouTube tomorrow.
Brilliant.
All right.
Look forward to it.
Very nice to meet you, lads.
Thank you. Take care.
Spread the word for me if you will.
Will do.
Thank you very much indeed.
Jim's Coastal Path Walk.
Yes.
Will do.
And if you go onto YouTube, would you subscribe, please? That would be very nice.
Can do.
Thank you very much indeed.
Brilliant.
Okay,
bye-bye.
Lovely to meet you. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
It's 4 o'clock now, and I'm still on the move, still doing all right. Don't worry. It's hot. There's no doubt about that. I mean, having experienced Bulgarian weather for 8 years, where you used to have temperatures like this in sort of May and April and what have you, so I got used to this. I like this kind of temperature, but then again I wasn't walking in it like I am now, but I'm doing fine. I'm quite accustomed to it, really. I've just walked through the wonderful village of Thornham. Never seen so many top quality eating houses. They seem to really go for them in a big way. Oh, there's a seat here. I'll sit down just for a few minutes because the sun's turned round, where it's been on my back all day. It's in my face now, and so therefore I can feel the wind a little bit more as well, because that's changed direction. And I'm wearing this hat. I mean, it's only a cheap one, but at least it keeps the sun off my head. And I've met some wonderful people today. I'm going back onto the coast now. I think you've seen enough of the roads and the restaurants and the churches and all that kind of stuff. I've tried to give it some kind of variety, because you would really have been bored to death if I'd have just stuck strictly to the coastal path, and I think it's interesting to show a bit of a variety. Plus the fact you get an opportunity to meet all these people who are not necessarily walkers, like as an example the guy in the hotel, Andy from Australia. What a fantastic bloke he is, lovely. So I'm going back now onto the coast, and by the time I get to the end of this road, which this is going to probably add 1.5 miles onto the walk, but at this time of night it doesn't really matter that much. But we will actually be able to see the sea for the first time, instead of all of these salt flats and mud flats and shingle beaches and sand dunes and all that. Will actually be strictly against the water. And I think at this point we're around about maybe 3 miles from Hunstanton or thereabouts, so that should only take me an hour. By which time it's going to be 5 o'clock. It'll take me, I don't know how long to get back on the bus, depending on the times. And then I'll be driving back down here again. Later on, when I get back to Wells, pick up the van, bring it back, and spend the night somewhere in Hunstanton. And I don't know where yet. I think it'd be impossible to get a campsite on a Saturday night. And I'll be probably too late to try anyway. So I don't mind that. I'll get myself some cans and I might have a walk to a pub or something. I've certainly spoken to a lot of people today, and all wonderful people, really nice people, and this is what this walk's all about, meeting all these wonderful people and seeing all these wonderful places and making a vlog for all you wonderful people. Well, this is Karen and Jackie, and we've been walking together for about, what, a mile, would you say? Something like that?
Yeah, about 50 minutes now.
And we're splitting up now because I'm going to the left and they're going to the right, and they're going to go and lay on the beach, and they've got a big picnic with them and all the rest of it. And I've got to try and get to Hunstanton. I'm not that far off now. And it's been lovely meeting you, ladies. You're smashing girls, aren't you?
It's been lovely meeting you, listening to all your adventures.
Yes,
it's been great fun.
Really interesting talking to you.
Yeah,
and you're from Letchworth, that's right, isn't it?
I'm Letchworth, you're Biggleswade, don't you?
Biggleswade, well, it's all roughly the same area, isn't it? Yeah, so you're just off the A1, of course, aren't you?
That's right.
Yeah, so it's lovely to meet you and have a good time. I've given you a card. Keep in touch. It'd be nice to hear from you.
We will. We'll check out your video.
Absolutely.
Smashing.
How much further have you got to go on your...
On
your whole walk?
Oh, about 1,500 miles altogether.
1,500 miles,
I've got to get back to Grimsby, and then I've got to cover. Sorry, I always get a dribbly nose. Then I've got to cover all of Scotland, right around the Scottish coastal path.
I'm quite envious in a way.
So, well.
Yeah, well, there you go, Karen. Get going. What's stopping you?
My businesses, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I really want to do. I've made a start, and I'm a very determined person. I always sort of find a way of doing things, and having told you my life story, you probably understand that really.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
Full of adventure. I always have been.
Yeah.
It's got me into a lot of trouble in the past, and I've had some terrific experiences, but that's me.
It's made you the character you are, Jim.
Well, exactly. I suppose I've always been like this,
So when are we going to be on YouTube?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
We can have a look when we get home, can't
Well,
we?
if not tomorrow, Monday, because I've got to edit all this, and I've still got yesterday's to do.
Okay.
It depends how far I get tonight,
Okay.
and I might go and stay with some friends tomorrow. I've got one or two decisions to make.
Okay.
They live up Market. They live just the other side of Kingsley, and I can never remember.
Market Harbour, is it?
No, it's Downham Market, which is about 10 miles from Kingsley. All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Best of
Jim.
luck
Good luck
with
with it all.
everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Brilliant.
It's 6:30 now, and I'm at the bus stop, about a mile and a half from Hunstanton. Instead of walking direct to here, before I came off the main road before, that's the A149, I decided to go around onto the coast path, onto the coast, and have a look at the beaches and see the sea that we haven't seen all day. Close up the sea. I don't mean all the shingle and all that stuff. And it took far longer than I thought. It got far hotter than I thought, and I got a lot more tired than I thought I would. So I called in to a pub, the White Horse, which is in this village called Holme, which is not far from Hunstanton, and asked for a bus timetable or a taxi or something, some way of me getting back to Wells. And they said, well, if you get a shift on go now, you'll catch the 6:38. I've just arrived here. And it's 6:31, so that's a bit skin of your teeth, isn't it? So for all of you who's hoping to see something of Hunstanton, fear not, because I'll be carrying on from here, this very point, tomorrow, or if not tomorrow, it depends on how I feel in the morning. It's been a long day. It's 6 o'clock now. I started at 7 o'clock this morning, so it's been a 13-hour walk, simply because I've enjoyed it so much. I've been talking to so many wonderful, interesting people. I've been taking it very easy because it's been red hot, and it's been a great day. But it's just a pity that this last sort of half an hour has gone a bit wrong. But the important thing is the 6:38 bus is the last bus. If I'd have missed that, it would have probably meant something like a 50 quid taxi all the way back to Wells. So I'm very pleased to be here. So that's it for now. Oh God, don't know how I get myself in a mess at times. It's been a brilliant day, but you know, this is cutting it very, very fine. And I've done this before, and I'm sure I'll do it again. But it's been a lovely day, and I'll see you the next time. Okay. Bye now. Bye.